and welcome to the Addydae Designs video blog. My name's Deanne and this is episode 5. For any returning viewers, welcome back and thank you for tuning in again. And for anyone that is new to my little blog, it's just a little video diary kind of thing of my ventures in crochet, designing, knitting, pretty much anything yarn related. So I don't have any real strict format that I stick to, but I'm just happy to share anything I'm working on, anything interesting that I've found, and of course any scrummy goodies that I might have on hand to share with you. So thanks for tuning in. It's been a few weeks since my last recording because this winter has been a little bit tough. The winter bugs got fairly deeply entrenched around here of late, so it's been tricky to record. I've been a bit sick, as has the rest of the family. The weather's been pretty dismal. Today it's gone cloudy again. It's not actually colder outside, but when the sun's not shining it's colder in the house. So yeah, it's nearly over. We have had hints of spring. I think, what's the date today? It's the 17th of August today. So spring is nearly here and I'm looking forward to that. So yes, that's why it's been a little while. I know I've kept you in suspense a little because I only did part 1 of my Bendigo Sheep Show goodies last episode, so I can show you the rest of them today anyway. But that's why I haven't recorded, because you just certainly didn't want to see what I looked like. It was not good. Let's just say even today, thank goodness for concealer and makeup. But never mind. Enough of that. So it's nice to be back to chat to you. Of course, I know you can't engage in the conversation, so you know, it's perfect. I can just chat away to a captive audience. Can't get much better than that, can you? So what can I start with? I suppose I better finish off telling you about what I found at the Bendigo Sheep Show. This is an annual event held in Bendigo. That's what it's colloquially, that's a hard word. Colloquial, see, I can't say it. Still blonde today. I'll blame the sickness. Locally known as the Bendigo Sheep Show, because it is held in Bendigo, but it's the Australian Sheep and Wool Show. It's been going for 139 years and it's the biggest event of its kind in Australia for sure. And I had a great time and got lots of goodies. So I might share those first. Is that okay? Just so we can transition from the last episode to this one, and then I can show you what I've been working on. So the first thing I'll show you is some yarn I got from Pirate Pearl Yarns. Katrina, I got to meet her at the show and she had some awesome colorways. She does a lot of, oh sorry, earthquake. She does a lot of her bases are white gum wool, which is ethically, do you say ethically, well, they're ethically raised sheep, raised in Tasmania. I'll try and find the link. There's a landline episode that talks about white gum wool, and I can't remember the lady's name. That's terrible. I follow her on Instagram. I'm having a very blonde day today, so you'll just have to bear with me. But yeah, it tells you a bit about white gum wool and how the sheep are raised and things like that. And I tell you what, whatever they're doing down there, it makes great wool, because white gum wool base is beautiful and soft. But anyway, these colours are dyed by Katrina of Pirate Pearl Yarns, as I said. And oh, they were beautiful. I couldn't resist them. So I'll show you these first. This colourway is heavy rope, and this is the superfine sock base, which is 80% merino, 20% nylon. So I've actually got the window open today with the curtain, so I'm hoping that the natural light will really show you how beautiful these colours are. So that is the, what did I say it was? Heavy rope, which is such a nice tonal grey. So there's that one. I got a few in this base. So here's another one. This one's full moon. There we go. Oh, it does show up well in the natural light. Yay! Oh, he's hoping that it won't change it too much. And Whiskey Town. Oh, that is showing up so well. Yay. Whiskey Town, that's a really lovely sort of mustardy yellow. I absolutely love that one. And this one I've started using, so it's in a ball, but this one is Pinball Wizard. I mean, is that not the coolest name ever? Awesome tonal colour. There's pops of mustard in there, and then there's pops of like the real chartreuse. But yes, Pinball Wizard I really like. Obviously I couldn't wait long enough to keep that on the skein for you. But loved using it already. So highly recommend this yarn from Pirate Pearl Yarns there. And then I got another base as well. This one is the Polworth. It's another type of sheep. Polworth base. It's a 4-ply or fingering weight. And this is a big 150 gram hank. And this colourway is called It's a Long Story. So that is a lovely tonal purple. I know purple is notoriously hard to capture on video and film sometimes, but that's coming out really, really well. So I love that. So it's a different base to the others, but still really, really soft. So I have a shawl pattern in mind. I mean, look at these. Look, how good do they look together? So might have to do something with that combo. Who knows? So yes, they're the ones. As you can tell, I kind of was quite taken with Katrina's colourways at her stall there and got quite a few. So I wasn't too much more naughty. Does that make sense? Anyway, 2 more skeins I've got to show you. So, excuse me, a little bit further away than I anticipated. This is a Madeline Tosh colourway I got called Geode, which is a gorgeous purple again, but with a lovely rust or gold even through it, which comes up really, really nicely. It's a single ply, this one. This is the, Tosh Merino Light single ply. And I just couldn't resist it. As soon as I saw it, it was talking to me. I just had to take this one home with me. So, and watch what happens when you put like mustard next to it. It just makes those gold tones pop. Well, if I can get them to work on the camera. There we go. They really pop right out there. So I think I'm definitely going to have to team that with that kind of colourway just to bring that out. But it's beautiful and soft. I've never used this base before. I've used Madeline Tosh yarn before because I love their colourways, but I've never used this base, so it'd be really nice to give that a go on something and see how it works up. And single ply too. I mean, I have used single plies, but not much. So it should be fun as well. And then the last thing I got is this gorgeous skein from Waratah Fibres. Helen from, the one from Madeline Tosh I got from the Pearl Box. I'll put their info up here too, but they had yarn from all sorts of companies there. So that's where I got that one, and I'll put the details up for that. Okay, back again. Like I said, I'm very blonde today. I just apologise in advance. Bear with me. So this colourway I got from Helen of Waratah Fibres. You can see her little tag there with the Waratah, which is a native flower of Australia. Come on. It doesn't want to focus. Anyway, have a look. I hope that the light picks up the speckles in this. Hold on, there we go. Isn't that gorgeous? I love the pops of teal and the rust and the lime green through here with the sparkles. And it's really, really soft. Helen's bases are beautiful. I've used a lot of them. She doesn't live very far from here, up in the Highlands, past Bowral, and the town I can't think of off the top of my head, but I'll put her details on the down bar here for you. So I don't know, I'm thinking socks for this. I don't know, apart from that I'm not really sure, but it was just another colourway that spoke my name as soon as I saw it, so I just couldn't resist. So that's my Bendigo acquisitions as far as yarn goes. So I was watching watching Melinda from the Yarn to Woman podcast, and her most recent episode, she was showing a few acquisitions and things she had, and she mentioned on it, she said, I hope no one feels that by showing you what I've got at the moment, that this is showing off. And I thought, I personally had never thought of it that way. And I don't think that's why podcasters share their stash, to be quite honest. I don't think it's a case of, look at me, look at what I've got. I really don't think that's why we do it. It's certainly not why I do it, and obviously not why Melinda does it either. Because I quite like seeing what people have purchased and finding out about new yarns that I may not have heard of and where I can get them, and copying down the details if I like what I see. So I hope that's how it comes across. It's certainly not a show-off kind of show and tell. It's just about information sharing, so I hope that's how you view it too. But speaking of making socks with these, that would lead quite nicely into FOs. Even though I have been sick, I have some FOs. Because crochet is the best therapy, isn't it? Well, any kind of yarn therapy, knitting, whatever, because I have a knitted FO. So I was talking socks. Remember the sock I showed you? I had one finished. Look, I have two. The pair of socks that I thought would take 100 years to finish, I finished them. I'm so happy. I don't have sock blockers, so I have washed these, like soaked them, but I haven't blocked them as such, aside from, you know, laying them nice and flat out in a towel. But don't they look cute with the different coloured toes and everything? So I'm really happy with how they turned out. The yarn bloomed beautifully when I washed it, and they're lovely and soft. I wish they fit my foot. But looks like, yes, as I said, my sister has scored a nice pair of socks because her feet are slightly larger than mine. So I've written down my notes, the lengths I need to do to fit my foot. But yeah, I was so excited. My very first pair of socks, there you go. So, and that pattern was the Smooth Operator Sock pattern by Susan B. Anderson. Highly recommend it. She's actually, even since the last podcast, she's updated that pattern to include a few variations to the heel and a Kitchener-free method of finishing the heel and toe if you're not particularly fond of Kitchener. Although she has a little method for remembering how to do Kitchener stitch. Awesome. It makes so much sense. I will never forget it again. It's fantastic. So, as I said before, highly recommend that pattern. Great socks. Very, very happy with that FO. So, small projects were obviously on the cards while I wasn't well, because I didn't want to have to think too hard. As you can see, I'm still a little vague following the sickness, so you can just imagine what I was like in the middle of it all. So hats were good. I did an OTT hat. This is one of my designs. Oh look, I've got a message. This is one of my designs, the OTT, which stands for over the top. Super duper easy. It's one stitch. So if you're new to crochet and you want something to practice on, highly recommend this. I had this colorway in my stash, and I thought, you know what, I should just use that to make a striped hat. I have a friend I'm going to give this to actually, and I made, if you have a look up on my mannequin over here, I made a striped cowl out of the same yarn with a complementary grey to go with it. So I'll tell you more about that in a later episode, because I'm actually going to write up the instructions for that one. So yes, another FO off the hook. OTT in a nice hat. It was the yarn is, now I can't remember, it was something I got at Spotlight. It's not the softest yarn I've ever used, but I love the colour transitions in that make the stripes. So that was my impulse buy from them quite some while ago. So I thought it was really good to be able to use that up. So that was another FO. And then this was a teeny tiny circle on my last podcast, but I finished my boy breakers. Remember the hat that Darren wanted? It's covered in hair. He's been wearing it. I haven't even been able to block it or do anything to it. But yeah, this is I followed the instructions from my breakers hat, which is a lady's design, but I omitted the lace. So obviously it's just a plain hat, no lace work obviously, so it suits the boy. This is like here's the difference. There's the lace work in the girls version, really simple, and yeah, his is just plain in the black. He was even wearing it to bed when he was sick. He had man flu, so you know, needed the extra warmth. But he really likes it, so perfect. Another message. Yeah, so that was off my hook as well. So lots of little projects, which was awesome to get a few things finished. So because I was able to finish a few smaller items, I don't have very many whips because I finished them all. But I do have an old one that has been languishing for some time. And actually this relates to something else I came across the other day. Apparently a few days ago it was International Granny Square Day. It's actually a thing. I didn't know, but all of a sudden my Instagram feed was full of granny squares, and it was, yeah, International Granny Square Day. This is a design of mine, this whip. That was inspired by a granny square. That's what I'm trying to get out. So I don't know if you can see so much on my whip, but I'll show you a finished version. Now this is my Mullany scarf. So this is the scarf version. The pattern, you can also make a shawl version that obviously dips down and makes more of a triangular shape, but this is just the straight scarf option that you can make. And I don't know how clearly you can see, because I'm going to cover my face up, but the increases in the center spine there are made in exactly the same way you turn a granny square corner. And that's what made me think of it when I was doing this design. So yes, inspired by the humble granny square, this design is. So that's the one that you can see on the pattern. Mullany is the name of the design, and this is my whip. I started this about 18 months ago. How embarrassing is that? I took it with me when we went on holiday because I thought it would be a nice small project because you only need one ball. And I did a little bit of it while we went away, and then not much at all. And then we went away again this year, and I took it with me again, and hardly did any on it that time as well. So I really need to finish this. So I thought I'd get it out and show you all, and that will hold me accountable to actually getting some of it done. So here's it's a lace weight version, which is why I haven't done a lot of it, because lace weight is a bit heavy going. You can't quite see the points that dip down because they're curling up in the lace weight. Probably hasn't helped that it's been hidden away in a bag. But yeah, this is a Zorbable lace. I'll put the details on the down bar, but it's really light and airy. Look, as you can see right through it. Beautiful, slow transition of colour in these, which I love, which is so perfect for crochet. So I'll cover up my face so you might be able to see some of that. But yeah, that's my whip. I'm doing the shawl version, so you can see how it's dipping down, so it's widening to get to the center point of like a shawl shape for this one. So I really should do a bit more on that and get that done, given that it's been hanging around for so long. It's not because I don't like it, it's just the lace. If anyone works lace, it can be harder on the hands and a bit harder on the eyes, which is why it gets put aside every now and again. So I've really got to do a little bit more on that one. And that is my only whip that is currently on my hook. I can't believe it. I normally have about 5. That's amazing. Either it means I'm just haven't started much at all, or it just means I've been super good and I've been finishing things, which is unusual for me. But anyway, so yes, hold me accountable to that one. Make me finish it, please. That'd be really good. Another, I'll give you a preview of another design that I'm thinking of releasing soon. Tell me what you think of it. Also inspired by the Granny Square, given that it was International Granny Square Day the other day. This one, I really should have put everything closer. This is another shawl I made. I hope you'll be able to see. I'm going to have to sit back. Now, there we go. I'll just cover up my face and keep talking. As you can see, it starts off with an increase corner. So these increases that make the corner are just like a granny square corner. Very, very simple. And then I've just, nearly dropped it, made, I don't know what you call these bits, wings? Well, let's call them wings. The wing sections of the shawl, for the sides. I decided to stripe one and leave one plain. And of course, you know how to wear shawls. I don't need to show you that. So yeah, goes down to a point down there. So that too was inspired by the humble little granny square. So I'm endeavouring to get that one written up. Let me know if you'd like to see it sooner rather than later. And yeah, I'll try and get that out to you. But again, something super simple. And you can stripe it, you can make it all in the one colour. It's really easy to modify to your taste. So I thought that might be a handy one for releasing out into the wild as well. So that's all my FOs, whips, stash enhancement. What else can I... Oh, that's what I want to show you. A few of my... Well, one of my favourite things. Now, I'm still sort of working out what I want this video blog to... What the format of the video blog is. And obviously I don't have a strict format or a strict set of what I'm going to do or say or show. It really is like a visual diary, I guess, of what I'm up to at the moment. So I hope you're enjoying the informality of it all. But that's kind of how I do things. I mean, fitting it around, you know, kids and schooling and everything else that I've got going on in my life. I'm not that structured, and I certainly don't want my crafting side of my life to be too structured. So we're going with the flow, so I hope you like that. But I wanted to share, I also want this to be of value to you. You know, I like watching podcasts, not just to see what people are making and yarn they've got and whatever. I mean, I enjoy that as well, but it's really good if I get to learn something new as well. So now this might be something a lot of you already know, but partway through my crochet life experience, this was something I learned quite a way into crocheting, and it's a method that is super simple, and it's something that I use all the time. So I wanted to share it with you. I talk about it in and use it in a lot of my designs, so some of you might have come across it already, but it's a particular method for working into your starting chain. Now that sounds like something that shouldn't be important, but it can really make a big difference in the look of your finished product, just the way you happen to work into your beginning chain. So what I've done here, obviously this is a start chain. In a lot of my designs, I talk about working into the back bump or back ridge of the start chain. So if you look at a chain, so I'm going to try, okay, so one side, the front, I always call this the front because it's the pretty braided side, and then the other side of your chain, you might notice there's this, I just hope it stays in focus, a center ridge of bumps that run down like a backbone. There you go, so you can see those. Now, when you work into a chain normally and you go in through the front, oh, it's going to be hard to sort of show you this way. When you go into the front of the braid section, that's how I had always done it. It leaves you with the bottom edge of your work looking like this. So there's that side. So you've got one side of the chain that creates the bottom. Now that's fine and that looks neat and that's great, but it doesn't look the same as the top edge. Now there's the top of a row of stitches. These are double crochet stitches, US terminology double crochet, trebles if you're from the UK or Australia. Okay, so it's got that lovely braid at the top of your work, but it doesn't at the bottom. So it looks completely different from top to bottom. If you work into that bump, that back ridge bump, the one that runs along the center, you end up with a starting edge that looks exactly the same as your finish edge. You've got that, now that this is turned a little bit, I hope it catches that. So there's the lovely braid on the finish edge, and I'm getting them mixed up, I can't even tell which is which. And there's the Let's make sure you can see it. The red's flaring in the light a little bit, but there's the braid along the bottom edge as well. So if you're making something like this, like a cow, it's perfect because they look exactly the same. There's no difference. It also makes a great edge to work back into if, say, you are working a border around a blanket or a square that you've made and you've worked it, you know, straight to start with. Or if you're leaving it unfinished as it is just in this cow, it looks the same top and bottom. So there's no difference in the look of it at all, which I really like. Maybe it's the OCD in me, but I really like it to have that symmetry. Like I said, it's great to work back into if you're working an edging. The only thing I would suggest if you are using this method is not to do your starting chain too tight. I yank my chain. Okay, don't laugh too loud. That is a thing. It's really a thing. I'll give you the details to Doris Chan's blog post about yanking your chain. It's sort of fun descriptions for different crocheters' techniques. I'm a rider. I'm a rider who yanks her chain. It will make sense when you read the blog post. Doris Chan, she cracks me up. She has a really, really cool sense of humour. She's fabulously talented in the world of crochet, and yeah, this little blog post is really entertaining and explains the differences between each crochet's technique. Anyway, I yank my chain, which means I tug them a little bit too tightly when I do them. So if I'm going to use this technique, if I know I'm going to work back into that bottom edge especially, you want to make a bit of room, and I tend to use a hook size one size up from what I'm going to do the rest of the work in, just to make sure that I don't make that crazy tight and it actually pulls in the beginning of my work tighter than, let's say, the top edge where I finish, so you don't want that. Yeah, so that's my little tip. Like I said, a lot of my designs use that technique to have that nice finished edge, or that edge that is easy to work back into for your edgings. I really enjoy it. It stops your starting edge having, because I know when I first started crocheting and just working as I was before into the starting chain, I'd end up with really big loose loopy edges, and it just didn't look good. And they tend to, even if you worked back into them, even if it wasn't going to be the edge that was going to remain on show, working back into them, they tend to stretch out a lot more than your top edge did. So yeah, was not quite happy. So I was quite delighted when I found this method. Trying to think, I think I found it first on stitchdiva.com. Is that Jennifer Hansen? I'm sure that's where I first heard of it from her. She had it on one of her designs and was like, oh, brainwave, and I've been using it ever since. So I didn't invent it, but it's a great technique that I really enjoy and use a lot. So if that helps you with your crochet, yay! I've helped somebody today. Awesome. So what am I wearing today? Well, this is my Spotto design. It is available on Ravelry, but if you do look it up, it's got stripes. The picture for the pattern page has stripes. For this one, I omitted the stripes and just put the spots on this one. So a little bit different. This is actually Imogen's. I stole it for today. But yeah, that's why it looks a little bit different, but I quite like it just with the spots. It's nice for a bit of a change, and it's an awesome grey. That's, what is it, a sketchbook by, I think it's a Madeline Tosh. Yes, not Malabrigo. Madeline Tosh sketchbook is the grey, and I love it. It looks great with the pink and white spots. So that's what I'm wearing today. Do I make all of my woolies? I don't know whether you've wondered that, but hey, I'm going to share anyway. No, I don't. I have a few woolen, like knitted, store-bought items. Don't judge me. But you can't beat handmade. I'd like to be better at making sweaters and cardigans, and I'm slowly expanding my design base that way. That's my intent anyway. But I have the odd store-bought one. Is anyone else like me and feel a bit guilty when they buy well, obviously not hand-knitted, when they buy store-bought knitted items? I kind of feel a bit guilty that I didn't make it myself. Only because I think it's when you make your own, you know how much better the quality is. You know that that item's going to last for so much longer. For example, if you had read my Facebook recently, you would have seen my post talking about a sweater I made. I must have been 15, seriously, I must have been 15, maybe 16 when I made this pink mohair jumper. Because it was a thing I did when I was a teenager. Every year I'd make myself a jumper, and at the time I was just knitting them. And anyway, this you know, I grew out of it. Like I said, I was only 15 or whatever. And handed it down to my sister. And after that I kind of lost track of it. It was 3 years ago, I checked my sister's message. 3 years ago, my sister sent me a photo of her daughter wearing it. I nearly died. I must have made this thing 29 years ago. Yeah. It's vintage now. Seriously, here's Sienna wearing this thing that I made when I was 15. And I found out that my family, when my sister was done with it, passed it to another family of 4 girls. I don't know how many of them wore it. I believe after they were done with it, it was then handed on to another family of 4 girls. And then they remembered that my sister, you know, it originally came from our family, and handed it on to my sister for her daughter to wear. So this thing's been kicking around for the last almost 30 years. Can I even say that? Oh my goodness. But it looks really, really good. I couldn't believe the good state it was in. And yeah, so handmade, you can't beat the quality. So that's why I feel guilty, I think, when I buy store-bought. I saw a joke on Facebook the other day, and it says, why buy it in store for $7 if you can spend $92 on craft supplies and make it yourself? And I know that's supposed to be funny, and it is, but when you know how long things that are handmade from good quality materials can last, it's worth it. It's not going to fall apart. Well, as long as you know what you're doing. It's not going to fall apart in 5 minutes time, or in the first wash cycle, or after the first time it's worn, you know. It's going to stand the test of time. And yeah, my vintage pink mohair 3/4 sleeve jumper is still kicking around. I'll try and insert a photo of Sienna wearing it. Now keep in mind, she was only 10 in the photo. If I can insert it, I better be able to now that I've brought it up. She was only 10 in the photo, and I was probably 15 when I made it. So it looks long sleeve on her, but it was actually a 3/4 sleeve design that I made at the time. I loved that thing too. So obviously it's been taken well care of too, which is lovely as well. Because when you pass your handmade items on to other people, you'd like to think that they look after them. So that was really good. But yay for handmade. It stands the test of time. So I'm going to love you. There we go. Let's engage the brain and tongue together again. I am going to love you and leave you again. I hope wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you're enjoying your crafting time. And I hope to catch you again soon. Thank you for watching.